Alright guys, Tommy's 10 minutes here. I think I'm going to call this one Every Day is a School Day. And I've just surprised myself there with my own brilliance. Wait till you hear this, what I'm actually going to talk about. Every day's a school day. I learned a new phrase today and it was called NEETs. And some obscure Labour former minister turned up, Alan Milburn, if you can barely remember. Anyway, Alan Milburn's turned up, and I'll come back to what they're actually doing. Because here's what you get with Tommy's 10 minutes. I'm going to join the dots for you. I'm going to interpret the news. Remember Rab McGlinchey used to interpret the news for the Neds? Well, I'm going to interpret the news for the wakey wakey. Anyway, so Alan Milburn has turned up talking about the moral crisis that exists in the United Kingdom. There's over 1 million NEETs in Great Britain, aged between 16 and 25. What's a NEET? I thought. Turns out it's not in employment, education or training. In other words, they're on the scrap heap. Nothing to do with COVID or anything like that, you know, taking 2 years out of their life. But anyway, I'm not going there, right? I'm not going there. I don't want to end up in the naughty step. The monitors are still up and down the corridors checking for the buzzwords. Anyway, so there's over 1 million NEETs in Great Britain now. And he said, I just heard it on the radio. He said 3 things that just jumped straight out at me. You see, you just need to listen to what they're actually saying here. He said that there's 3 areas that they need to work in to solve this crisis for the 16 to 25 year olds. First one he said is welfare. What? Welfare? Did somebody say just eat? How do you think they're going to get their money? Since they can't work or do anything? I mean, where are they going to get the money to get their haircuts and fix their hair? What is that about, by the way, with all the youngins? Anyway, right, I'm not going there. So, welfare. The other one that he said was education, and how that by the time they get to, I think he said 6 or 7, they can't read. I mean, whose fault's that? So it's almost like you're setting them up to fail, and then once they've failed, you're calling it a moral crisis. A lot of them can't even read and write properly in their teens. And they're not in education. Imagine that. And the other thing he mentioned, here's the one that stuck out to me. Health. 16 to 25 year olds with health problems. How did that happen? What? Let's have a game of darts. There's a new baby. And they've got developmental problems. Imagine that. Anyway, careful, Tommy, careful. Don't be getting on the naughty step with Facebook and YouTube as well. So they're telling you, right, here's the interpretation for the Neds. We've got a generation of lost youngsters who have no hope. They're thick, they're unhealthy, and they need to be kept sustained on benefits. That's pretty much what he said. Now, not only did they create the problem, but they came up with a solution. Thesis, antithesis and synthesis. That's what they do. It's on my book. I tell you plainly how they do it. So they've created this generation of lost kids with no hope, pretty much. To keep the shortfall going, they had to bring in workers, immigrants. Did somebody say just eat? I mean, where did they get the bikes for, by the way? 2-3 grand a pop. So a whole swathe of replacement migration, replacement people come in to do the jobs. Replacement migration's the actual term for it. They come in and do all the work, do all the jobs, while the youngsters are fixing their hair and phoning getting a hoagie at the shop. Somebody the same age as them bringing it on a bike. So that's what's kind of... But here's what they told you the solution was. We need to do something by 2031. Oh, that's interesting. He says by the time we get to 2031, this crisis is going to be unsolvable. Now, that means that we need to fix it by 2030. Haven't you heard that phrase before? Do you think they've got an agenda? Or am I just being a conspiracy theorist? No, I don't even really like using the term Agenda 2030. I just call it by what it is. The mark of the beast. That's what it is. Agenda 2030 is just the instruction manual and what that's actually going to be. But anyway, so he's saying that we need to fix it by 2030. Now, can anybody in the class think, how could we do that? How could we resolve this problem so that we know what everybody's issues are? Where could we store all the information about everybody? Their health records, their education records, their finances and their welfare. Wait a minute. That thing that they're talking about, the IDs, what do you call it? Is it something like digital? Digital IDs. Let's get digital IDs in by 2030 and we'll be able to control the problem. So, that's what I heard. You see? I just cut through the nonsense and say, what are they really saying? And that's what they're really saying. Now, they're in that state because they missed a couple of years of school, but it goes back further than that. Tony Blair, when he came in, opened up the floodgates for all the Eastern Europeans to come in and work. Unfettered. It's okay, don't worry about it. There'll be any more than 14,000 come in. Well, about 25 million later. Anyway, so that was the start of it for this generation who've now come up. They had Blair. He eroded away. The education system went down the toilet. And what happened is their education got replaced by really what you would have to say is indoctrination. It's not an education, it's an indoctrination. They know what everybody's rights are. And they certainly know how to get on with things in the sex education department. And just keep giving them money to waste away. The good news is the kids are actually starting to wake up. And I'm talking about spiritually. It's the kids who are starting to wake up and say, look, there's got to be more to life than this. And they're the ones that are asking the questions about God. And they're finding God. And that is the answer, by the way. So, I'm going to wrap it up there. My 10 minutes are up. The moral crisis that's looming, don't worry, we'll solve it. We created it, but we'll come up with a solution. Just trust us. Keep your hands off of kids. Right? And whatever you do, when it comes to their solution with Agenda 2030, do not, remember this, do not take anything in your body to do with it. It's the mark of the beast. Anyway, I'm going to cut it there. I need to go. It's beddy time for TikTok Tommy.